What's up everybody, it's Sean here, back today to give you guys a review of the Nike Air Max 1 Premium Shima Shima. So the Nike Shima pack was actually released back in 2003 and it consisted of a few colorways of the Nike Dunk High, the Air Trainer 1, and the Air Max 1. And I believe this pack was only available in Asia, Europe, and Canada, which made it a lot more sought after and more limited shoe for those in the US. So fast forward 20 years later, and Nike is bringing us a new colorway of the Air Max 1. So this is not an exact copy of those 2003 Air Max 1s, but it utilizes the same sort of design pattern, more specifically the stripe pattern on the inner collar, which, fun fact, Shima in Japanese translates to stripes. So these released back on March 10th for a price of $160 US or 210 here in Canada. And these are pretty much sitting at most Canadian boutiques, such as the Closet Inc. The Closet Inc. is my go-to shop for Nike and Jordan releases, and they're an independently owned and operated sneaker boutique based right here in Southern Ontario in Canada. So if you guys want to check them out, I'll link their website, their Twitter, all that good stuff down below. So be sure to show them some love and tell them that I sent you. So the official colorway for this shoe is Summit White, Plum Eclipse, and Wolf Gray. And at first glance, this is just your normal Air Max 1 look. But let's dive into the details of this shoe and I'll show you guys how they differ. So as we start things off on the toe box, instead of the traditional mesh or nylon, the base layer of the shoe is actually constructed out of a very smooth white colored leather. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have a super soft, smooth brown colored suede, which has a slight tint of violet or purple to it in certain lights. So this brown suede runs down the entire length of the shoe, serving as a mudguard, and then above this, covering the U-throat and the quarter panel of the shoe, we have this very smooth gray colored leather. Covering the top two eyelets, we have a brown colored TPU, and then stitched on top of the mid panel, we have the swooshes, which is once again constructed out of that smooth brown colored suede. Surrounding the middle portion of the heel, we have more of that gray colored leather, and then embroidered in the center, we have Nike Air branding. And then wrapping around the top portion of the ankle and the ankle collar area, we have more of that smooth white leather once again. In terms of laces, so this shoe only comes with one lace option, and they're just your normal flat style laces done in that same brownish violet or purple tone. Underneath this, the tongue is entirely constructed out of a white colored mesh, and we have this square tag on the top with contrast white stitching on the edges, and here we have the Japanese characters or kanji, which reads Shima Shima. So the back of the tongue and the interior liner of the shoe is covered in this nylon material, and it has a striped pattern to it. And then as far as the insoles go, these come with your normal foam-lined Air Max 1 insoles. It's covered in a brown colored textile on top, and once again we have Shima Shima written in Japanese or kanji, and it's pressed onto the heel in red. So the upper of these Air Max 1s sits atop this full-length polyurethane foam midsole, which is entirely painted in white. On the heel, of course, we have this cutaway exposing the air unit that's found within the midsole for cushioning, and the air unit itself is also done in that same brown tone. Finally, turning this pair over to the bottom, this is your normal Air Max 1 outsole. So this is constructed out of a combination of brown and gray colored rubber. It has a speckled pattern to it, so I suspect this might be a recycled rubber. And just like any other Air Max 1, we have this waffle style traction pattern on the forefoot, along with Nike Air branding down the center of the heel. So that breaks down the look and the construction of these Air Max 1s. And for those wondering about sizing, to me these fit like any other recent Air Max 1, so I prefer to stick true to size for a size 10. So my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, meaning when I step in a branding device at a shoe store, my foot is actually size 10 in between a D and an E width. So in the past, I found that Air Max 1s used to fit a lot more snug, so I used to go up to a 10.5, whereas for more recent Air Max 1s in the past few years, for the most part, I'm perfectly fine sticking true to size. So this pair, whatever size you normally wear for recent Air Max 1s, just stick with that same size and I think you'll be perfectly fine. But if you've never worn an Air Max 1 before, if you have a narrow, normal, or slightly wide foot, true to size should be fine, but if your foot is really wide, you might want to consider going up a half size and it might fit you better. Moving on to the comfort, so the Air Max 1 unfortunately isn't that comfortable of a sneaker. The cushioning underfoot feels pretty stiff and pretty firm, even though there is an air unit within the midsole, so it's not going to be a super soft, super cushiony and responsive feel, but for an everyday casual use shoe, Air Max 1s are going to be perfectly fine. Finally, in terms of the overall quality and the craftsmanship on this shoe, so first off, material quality I was very impressed with. Keep in mind though, this shoe is labeled as an Air Max 1 Premium, so my mind already had higher expectations, but once I got these in hand, I still came away feeling pretty impressed. The combination of the smooth leathers and the suedes, To me at least, they felt like they were pretty decent materials as far as a general release Nike sportswear product goes. And the build and the craftsmanship I thought was pretty good. The stitch job was solid, the panels were stitched on and placed consistently. The only issue I had though, there was a small blemish of white colored paint on the air bubble, but it's pretty minor, you can't really see it unless you look up close. So all things considered, this was a pretty solid pair. So with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up, and I'll show you guys how these look. If you're a hardcore Air Max 1 guy or girl and you've been into Air Maxes for a long time, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a must cop for you. For everyone else though, if you're not too familiar with the history and the relevance of this Shima Shima pack, I still think this is a solid colorway. It's a bit uninspiring, but it's going to be a very solid color choice for an everyday use shoe. Basically, this looks like a normal run-of-the-mill Air Max 1, except for of course this stripe pattern on the collar, which you honestly can't really see when you're wearing them anyways, which probably explains why these are still sitting on websites and in stores. But I think if you have the opportunity to grab these for a discounted price, this would be a great ad for the collection. Like I said, the material quality was great, and this is just timeless classic color blocking that just won't ever go out of style. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about the Shima Shima Nike Air Max 1. What are your overall thoughts on this colorway, and what are your thoughts on the Air Max 1 in general? Leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, follow my Twitter account at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.